speaker sa umagang ito, si Churched, no? Dahil po siya isa din bukod sa kilala natin na aktibong nagsusulong nung mother tongue based multilingual education sa Pilipinas, ay isa rin po siya sa mga haligi po namin dati sa alternative learning system at kasama na po kami na madalas po kaming naanyayaan sa kanyang mga gawain po sa pamantasan ng sa Universidad ng Pilipinas. So sa umagang ito, no, magkakaroon po tayo ng sesyon sa mother tongue based multilingual education sa Pilipinas. Ano ba ang mga usapin, ano paano ito ano ang mga hakbang na ginawa na noon, paano na ito lumago siguro ano at ang mga mainit na usapin ngayon kaugnay ng MTB-MLE sa Pilipinas. Ano po? So ako ang natasan ay pakilala sa inyo ang ating tagapagsalita sa umagang ito at ito nga po, no, mapalad tayo sa umagang ito. Nakapiling po natin si Ma'am Maria Mercedes Ched, o kilala natin sa tawag na Church Ched, Stigoy Arsadon, no, who is an associate professor at the College of Education, University of the Philippines. She completed her PhD in Anthropology and Sociology of Education from the same university, and her dissertation was an ethnography on policy enactment of mother tongue based multilingual education, MTB-MLE, in an indigenous school of community. She is one of the top founding members of Talaytayan MLE, a non-government organization that promotes MTB-MLE in the Philippines through advocacy, policy making, teacher training, and materials development. CHED is also a part of a UNESCO Bangkok MLE working group. So, dear friends, ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome Teacher CHED, Maria Mercedes CHED Arsadon. A warm applause, please.
Welcome.
Yay! Great
Yay.
job.
Thank you. Thank you. Mitch, can I share my screen?
Oh, yes. The PowerPoint is on there, or would you like me to just, would you like to share?
Yeah, I can share because I have some slide changes. So.
Oh, okay. Here.
Thank you. Thank you, Sir Ryan. Dr. Ryan. Yeah, I met Dr. Ryan more than 10 years ago. So I'm happy to see him again. And
Wow.
I'm glad that he chose Filipino as an area of expertise. We need language expert like Dr. Ryan today. So my topic is MTB-MLE, and my focus is on reading because I'm happy to meet Ma'am Rowena with the reading bodies. And Sir Mitch, many of the proponents of MTB-MLE in many countries are former members of Peace Corps. Especially Dr. Carol Benson with the Columbia University, and now with Multilingual America or Education. She's one of the leading writers, and she would often mention her experiences as a Peace Corps.
Yeah, I read her research. I used it for my master's thesis.
Okay, that's great. So this is a profile of our country. So we have many languages, 182 living languages. 3 languages have died. And the official languages are Filipino and English, and Filipino is our national language. And Filipino is supposed to be an evolving language to include all Philippine languages. So when we think of our using the mother tongue, you would realize how it is so politicized, and people, have strong. They are threatened that they feel that their knowledge in English, which is is an edge, in getting jobs, will be gone. So it's affected by our colonial experiences with Spaniards, Americans, and partly by the Japanese. Okay, so when we say mother tongue-based multilingual education, there are many expression So, but officially, it is defined as the effective use of more than 2 languages for literacy and instruction. It starts where the learners are and what they know. So there are ways to apply it. The learner's mother tongue or L1 is the medium of instruction, especially in early reading. Kasi sa Pilipinas, nakalagay sa Constitution that the regional languages should be an auxiliary language. So the main, it's in 1987. So for a long time, only English and Filipino were mentioned in our Philippine Constitution, but it shifted in 1987. Nakalagay doon that the regional language should assist Filipino and English in fulfilling their role. And when MLE was introduced in 2009, there was a dedicated subject called Mother Tongue to learn reading and language. So they learned the grammar, not just how to read, but a little bit about grammar. And then in other places, especially in indigenous areas where the languages are not yet developed, I mean, wala pang orthography, wala pang mga materials, they use the mother tongue as a language support. So pwedeng ito translate sa oral language. Kasi nagkaroon ng MLE, may policy that they would hire teachers in early grades, kinder to grade 3, who speak the local language. So, kunyari, wala pa namang materials in that particular language. Kunyari, Aita Mag-Indi, ganyan, At marunong naman yung teacher ng Mag-Indi. So, pwedeng language support lang siya, verbal. And so, or maghahanap ng mga yung kakausapin yung parents na turuan sila na suportahan yung anak nila sa bahay. So, yan, it's a language support. In a classroom that uses the dominant language like Filipino or English. So ito yung ating kasaysayan, nabanggit kanina ni Sir, yung alam niyo to, yung parang mahabang drama, mayroong ups and downs. So even before the colonizers came, meron na tayong sariling mga wika at meron pa siyang sariling what they call that script. Okay, we had the syllabary or baybayin, So we had our own way of writing our languages. And so when the Spaniards came, they used baybayin to teach religion, but later on, mahirap kasi mahirap yung baybayin for them, kasi kakaiba sa Roman script. And so pinagbawal nila, sabi nila, it's the work of the devil, so just use the Roman script. And so yun, so doon nag-start na ma-erode, yung ating languages. So imagine you are literate because the time when the Spaniards came, they were amazed that even women can read and write using baybayin. But all of a sudden, when it was prohibited, naging illiterate na sila. So before they were literate, but now the Roman script is used. They were illiterate, and the Roman script was used to create land titles. Kaya nawala pati mga lupain, and so, that persisted for hundreds of years. Spanish was used, and it was used in schools. But in 1998, yung First Philippine Republic, during the 2 years of
Nawala.
temporarily, let's use Spanish, but eventually, let's use our own language. Kaya lang dumating yung mga I'll turn off the internet is dumating yung mga Amerikano and pinagbawal nila English only. So the materials that they use in America in teaching the the American Indians were used in the Philippines, Pati yung mga boarding school approach nila ginamit dito. Then dumating yung Monroe Survey, which I will present. And then after independence, we began to nag-start ng gamitin yung Tagalog. In 1930s, after World War II, the vernacular education, I will talk about that. The vernacular education movement because was introduced by the proponents of the community school movement. Itong mga tatlong school superintendent, si Giyang, Aguilar, and Orata. No? And then nawala siya dahil sa martial law. But after martial law, there were initiatives to use the mother tongue again. And then 2009, na-introduce yung first policy on MTB-MLE. No? So, yan. So, it was introduced because of initiatives ng mga kagaya niyon, ng mga advocates. No? When I listened to you, I remember my colleagues, my comrades dun sa MLE movement. Kailangan mag-isip kagaya niyo. No? Very strong ang advocacy. Okay, so this was the Monroe-Sorby na binabanggit ko. After 25 years of using American textbook, American language in schools, kasi it's an experiment. In other colonized countries, they use the local language, but here they impose English. So nagkaroon ng request by the Philippine Commission. They invited experts from Yale, Columbia, the Ministry of Department of Education to come here to study, to assess, parang yung EDCOM ngayon, so there were ito yun, 9 American education expert, 13 Philippine-based expert. They work with 150 research assistants, and they administered tests. So 32,000 pupils, 1,077 teachers in almost all provinces. So ganyang kadami. And then ang report nila, the Monroe report, 700 pages long, uploaded siya. If you want to use it for your thesis, it's available. So ano yung sinasabi niya? Nakita nila that remember that this survey was not meant to study the language issue, para siyang EDCOM to study the quality of education, and they found that the Filipino learners were performing below their counterparts sa America, And the three major reasons are the language issue, pangalawa, untrained teachers, and the curriculum is not adapted to Philippine needs, So sabi sa report ni Counts, unlike the American child, English is not the home language of Filipino children because of the basic role played by language in the process of education. The functioning of practically every procedure of the school is impaired, and the work of the formal education is often rendered ineffective. So kung babasahin mo yung kanilang report, ayan, hindi ko pa na. They describe the classroom discourse. So sabi nila that every recitation is labored, maraming paulit-ulit, hindi nagkakaintindihan. In other words, walang critical thinking, puro memorization lang. Walang authentic dialogue inside the classroom. Kasi bawal magsalita ng ibang language. Kahit na nasa playground ka, dapat English pa rin. So can you imagine that was the condition in schools? So parang in a way, it was reinforcing the colonial mindset na, hindi magamitin yung wika mo, makinig ka lang, ganyan. Hindi pwedeng mag-isip, magtanong. So tamang-tama sa kanilang agenda. Okay. And then, ito na yung community school movement, yung Iloilo experiment. So may mga teachers, leaders ito, it was kasi nga we were moving towards independence, so they knew na we will be using our own languages. So itong si Dr. Jose Aguilar from Iloilo came up with an experiment. Paano gamitin yung Hiligaynon? So it was very methodical. Mayroong experimental group. Ito ay control group. And then she found out that the experimental group that used Hiligaynon, they learned the same amount of English in 6 months, compared to the control group. Ito yung existing practice na 2 years nila ginagamit yung language before they learn English. So yeah, naging positive yung results niya. And then they were asking questions, involve yung parents. Kaya masaya, nagbabasa sila. So there was this study by Sena, and she was delighted to see children giggling, reading yung Bisayan, parang Bisayan liwayway that time, and so because of the positive result, naging batas siya, UNESCO people came to the Philippines and they used the Philippine example in their first publication of language, vernacular language in schools, So naging batas siya in 1956. However, kukonti lang ang materials, hindi nag-invest ang government sa materials, naghintay lang sila ng dinonate ng Amerika. Remember, I don't know, maybe your nanay used the Pepe and Pilar, ayan, ano tawag doon, yung basal books sa pagtuturo ng pagbabasa. So yun lang, and then nung martial law nawala na siya, dahil nga sa yung political agenda that time. And then after martial law, maraming as I mentioned, initiatives sa Rizal, the Lingua Franca Project and ni Brother Andrew Gonzalez, the first language component ng mga SIL people sa Ifugao, yan So at saka sa Kalinga, And then the TEEP, Third Elementary Education Program, so to target yung mga IP and struggling schools. So from these experiments, the report ni Yusek Quijano in 2010, when MLE was introduced, learners learn to read more quickly, and their L1 literacy, na-transfer siya sa L2 literacy. They perform better in all subject areas, pati sa English, like what happened in Iloilo. Increase enthusiasm and self-confidence, participation of parents in the community, and then lessen absenteeism and dropping out. So in 2009, ayan bakit nga ba na-introduce to? Kasi it was EFA that time, Education for All, and we were trying to meet our targets. So DepEd was open to any innovation, and it was the end of Gloria Macapagal's rule. Gloria Macapagal at the start of her rule imposed English only, but it was resisted by Filipino language advocates. And so it's interesting that because of the English-only policy, nanganak siya, it led to this DepEd Order 2009. And then later, MTBMLE was officially, it became a part of the K-12 law in 2013. So dito, L1 is the mother tongue, is the language of learning from kindergarten to grade 3. And then may transition siya from grade 4 onwards. And then there's a subject called mother tongue. And then the language of instruction shall be the primary language for testing. And then dapat may training. And then ang development ng materials ay dapat localized. Unlike before that everything emanated from the DepEd Central Office in Manila, all materials. But through MLE, schools, local people, advocates can create their own materials. Siyempre, sino ba nakakaalam ng mga lingwahe nila kundi ang mga local people, And then there's also a part of the K-12 law that the content and pedagogy shall be contextualized, localized, and indigenized. So maybe we're thinking because maybe the Secretary of Education was, Brother Armin. He's a priest, and we know that priests or religious people contextualize the message, the religion. Or the Bible, so that it will be more understood by the local people. So ito yung naging concept ng multilingual education. It is based on the framework of Susan Malone. She's the consultant of UNESCO, Asia Pacific that time. Okay, so you introduce the L1, the mother tongue, unti-unti, Okay, so oral language first, and then written, and then afterwards you introduce L2, oral, and then written, and then L3, which is English, So dapat nakaprograma siya, hindi yung sabay-sabay na gagamitin. Okay, ayan. And then as a result, ang DepEd, talagang it produced enough policy support So kunyari, sabi niya na ito, yung nag-create siya ng IPSEO, Indigenous Peoples Education Office, para pati yung mga indigenous languages would be used in MTB-MLE, and then there's guidelines about funding. You should tap local funds like the funds from the local school board. Nandun yung mga languages to be prioritized, and then the teacher hiring qualification, the teacher should speak the mother tongue, and then the learning action cells for teachers should be used for in-service training. 2015, the language mapping, and then the yung teacher competency framework. Okay, yung teacher quality framework includes competence in the mother tongue and indigenous education. So ginagamit siya for measuring teacher performance, yung PPST. So nabago sa PPST na RPMS, nagagamit siya. And then the higher education, Commission on Higher Education followed suit. So in 2017, they introduced a subject called Pedagogy and Content in the Mother Tongue as a required course in pre-service. Okay, and then marami pang iba, no? So, and then may mga probinsya like sa Pampanga, they passed provision, La Union, that the local language will be used as a signage, label ng mga products sa mga local radio station, ganyan, So nakita natin na unti-unti, 2017 lang sa CHED. So things were improving, developing, and then yun nga, when the new administration came, were was Bongbong Marcos, Senator Gatchalian, Romulo, na kalaban nila yung mga nag-introduce ng MTB-MLE. Ayan, tinanggal na nila, and things were just, beginning. So talagang what happened in last year was they limited the implementation of MLE only in monolingual classes, so it cannot be used in multilingual context. Okay, so if you notice, MLE was introduced in 19 languages, but DepEd through their EPSEO expanded it to several, 19 plus 100 more languages. So can you imagine itong mga to? They have orthography, meron na silang big book, and kaya nagalit sila, I was there in a meeting when the new policy was introduced, and there is this guy, there's a teacher from Abra, Itneg, and talagang he was so disappointed. Now, why is DepEd stopping the implementation? So as mentioned earlier, ito yung aking dissertation. Ang context nito is, the provision that districts should develop their own materials. However, not everyone, based study ng PIDS, only 45% are developing their own materials. So tinignan ko to. Particularly the development of big books. These are enlarged storybooks that a class can read together. It was introduced by a teacher, a language teacher in New Zealand, in the 60s. They found out that the Pacific Islander, yung mga bata yung mga indigenous kids in New Zealand, were struggling to, we're struggling in the reading class, and the teachers found out na wala pala silang yung kagaya sa mga puti, that they had yung before they sleep meron munang reading, okay, bedtime stories, okay. And so this guy came up with the idea of producing enlarged storybooks so that they can simulate the bedtime story. Ayan, So itong approach na to that began in New Zealand spread in other countries, developing countries, na walang mga storybook. So itong pinuntahan ko sa Bugyas, it's a district in Benguet, Northern Luzon, Cordillera region. When I went there in 2011, talagang wala. The classrooms were bare. Mga donated books, very few, punit-punit na yung mga reading materials. So that time the main the way to teach reading was the blackboard, black talk and talk and chalk. Na blackboard lang, direct teaching, memorization. And so when MTBMLE was introduced, kasama sila sa pilot. And so they began to use the yung MLE lesson plan. At yung lesson plan ng MLE used the balanced method of teaching literacy, or the two-track, na hindi lang direct method of learning the yung phonic style, but it should also include reading. Ito yung whole language approach. That they would read the story, discuss the story, and then from the story they can kunyari get a word and use that in teaching reading. So ayan. So itong mga materials na to, if you notice, it's teacher made, sinulat ng teacher. Later on, ginamit na nila yung computer and umusbong na rin yung mga printer sa sa area. So this is the locality. Ayan. So Kankanai was the major language. Ayan, you would pass by this village when you go to Sagada. And it's interesting. Because the teachers produce many storybooks, and I asked them, where do you get stories? And they told me, by attending wakes. Yung pala, I attended wakes, 3 wakes when I was there. And during, kita nyo, may mga microphone pag may wake. Yung pala, mag-story yung mga elders, especially yun, mga wakes, kahit sa weddings. And they would talk about, all sorts, mga funny, mga, may ituturo silang values. And then they also found stories sa mga estudyante nila, yung kwento ng estudyante nila. And then they tried to recall, ano ba yung stories ng nanay ko, from their everyday experience. It's it's a vegetable farm, maraming kwento tungkol sa mga gulay. So ito, in a span of 7 years, naka-create sila ng 300, And to think that Kankanai is that one of the 19 languages. So because they wanted their children to read, to enjoy reading, and to magkaroon ng critical thinking. Ayan, this teacher produced 25. Ang dami-dami nilang sinulat. And some were translated to Filipino and English. And they also created the Kankanai Primer. Okay. Oops. Hello. Hello, are you still there? Hello?
Hello, yes po, Church.
Okay.
We're
Kasi may
here po.
nakalagay. Okay.
Yes,
Kasi
we're
may
still here.
Okay, because I got a note from Zoom that it is
Yes,
quitting.
ma'am.
Okay, sige. I thought, okay. So ito yung mga themes ng storybook, yung mga places, mga names ng prutas, gulay, yung mga ito yung mga indigenous shampoo na ginagamit nila, yung mud na nagpapaganda. Yan, tungkol sa pagkain, things that are unique in that place. Na something that you will not read if the books are produced by the central office, Like ayan, And then interesting, marami ring mga stories about, bullying, deforestation. Itong book na to na I'm mentioning, ito yung sa taas, ito yung ginawang na book sa sa Central Luzon. Sa baba, kinikwento sa Benguet, yung mamatay na yung mga river dahil sa mga chemical-based farming, ganyan. So ito yung kanilang two-track approach. The two-track approach was the method introduced by the MLE trainers. So if you notice, they have here the storybook. Ayan, So ito yung two-track. This is the meaning track where they use the storybook to to facilitate discussion, free flow, discussion about the topic. And then meron silang primer, yung they teach reading, decoding. So nakita niyo dito, 'di ba A B C D E, And then when Marungko or Filipino was introduced, meron din sariling sequence. So what they did sa MLE training was teachers were asked to analyze the sound frequency. Ano yung most frequently used sounds in your language? So yun ang una mong ituturo. So based on their analysis, ang pinaka-frequent is A and then N and then I, D, U, T, so on. Kaya tinawag nilang anidot. Anidot reading instruction. Okay, because if you start with the most frequently used sounds like A and N, makakagawa ka na ng maraming istorya, no? Dahil ginagamit siya sa maraming words. So yung kwento ni Anina, okay, isang kwento na yon just using two or three sounds, ano? Mas grabe dun sa yung tikang tikang naman ang tawag nila sa Bisaya. Ganun din, there's this guy, you should invite him one time, si Dr. James Gahe. Principal siya sa Bukidnon. Also in a very poor community, so they are using tikang. And parang magic, learners were able to read more quickly and they become very interested. So ito yung kwento nila. Dahil may mga big books, ayan, lagi nilang pinupuntahan sa reading corner. Nagbabasa sila, minsan nagsa-sound out sila, ayan, yung ng mga letters. And then, ang kwento nila, after 1 month of instruction, nakakabasa na sila. And not just that, when a certain storybook is discussed, the pupils will respond spontaneously and would often offer their interpretation and opinion. For example, sabi ng isang teacher, before daw ng English or Filipino only, when they were asked, describe the blanket, sasabihin lang nila, the blanket is beautiful. But now in Kankanaey, when they are asked to describe the blanket, very elaborate. You use blanket when it is cold at night, mga ganyan. So, ayan. So, happy sila to see their children responding differently. So, this is one example, yung isang grade 1 teacher. So, kids were asked to upo sa baba and then nagkukwento siya. And then, ito yung sabi niya, wow, they scream with delight when you say that you will tell a story. I asked them, what do you think will happen next? So, diba, when you are reading a story, you're teaching predicting skills, diba? Then they will suggest their guess. And later they would say, ilam tet ewa, or you see I was right. So, ayan, after reading, then meron na silang mga post-reading activities, mga mga masasaya, yung mga ginagawa nila. So since sila yung pilot school, pumupunta yung mga surrounding schools para to learn from them. So nakita natin dito na nagkaroon ng shift ng literacy instruction. Before code-based literacy, only English and Filipino, there were so much drills, memorization. But when MLE was introduced, it's literature-based, focus on meaning, oral language, yung classroom discourse. And then there's also yung primer method using anidot, yung focus on accuracy. Okay? So, yun yung nangyari sa study ko, And so, because of my exposure to MLE and to Benguet, I began to use it sa klase ko, So, I would send my students for, yung part ng kanilang curriculum in materials development to indigenous schools, or indigenous areas like Aita Mag-Indi, Aita Mag-Antsi, the Iwak in Nueva Vizcaya. Itong Aita sa Central Luzon, ito yung Iwak. We also went to Bicol and lately went back to Benguet. So, dinadala ko yung mga estudyante ko and even in Manila, I brought my students sa isang Sinama or Badjao community in Parañaque. So we went there to create L1 material. So they would go there, gather story, ask them to tell a story, and then isusulat siya sa big book. So some of my students used talagang manual binding of the big book. Iba naman, pinapabind na lang sa bookstore, sa print shop, okay? So after we made the story, of course, we had continuous consultation with the storytellers and sinusoli na namin, we give back. So we give them the hard copies. Ito yung isang nanay, pagkatanggap niya ng big book na ginawa namin, binasa niya kaagad. So yun, dito sa IWAC to, no? To DepEd, ito community, ano? So we also gave them the high resolution image file, a PDF copy, and ebook so that they can reproduce the books that we gave them. So here are some of the books na create namin. Okay, so ito mayroong Bicol, IWAC, ayan, Aita Mag-Indi. Okay, and then lately Kan-Kanaay. So, ayan. So bakit importante ang storybook in their mother tongue, Kasi the storybooks the children read can either be a window or a mirror. So when children cannot find themselves reflected in the books they read, or when the images they see are distorted, negative, or laughable, they learn a powerful lesson about how they are valued in the society of which they are part of. So kung ibang tao, ibang lugar ang kinikwento, so the storybooks become a mirror. Become a window. But when they read about their place, about themselves, about their elders, about their the food they eat, then the storybook becomes a mirror. So dapat may balance. There should be books that are mirrors, and there should also be books that are windows. Ang masaklap dahil mahirap tayo, hindi tayo nagpo-produce at English, puro windows. Okay? Unfortunately, 15 years later, as I mentioned, dahil nga si Marcos ay katunggal ni Aquino. So when he came in, and then like his father, who ended the vernacular education movement, he said that he will revert to English again. And then his allies, like Romulo, Gatchalian, sabi nila, okay, tapusin na yung mother tongue. Kasi kunyari si Romulo at saka si Aquino, they were the opponents of yung Gunigundo who introduced the MLE policy. Okay? So yan. So ang stand ng DepEd is they will discontinue but mayroon pa ring optional implementation in monolingual classes because you cannot change the constitution. Very clear yung constitution na dapat gamitin siya. That's why some of us are thinking of filing a case to question itong batas na to. Okay. So, ang kanilang reason why they are ending it is because of the result of PISA, CPLM, TIMSS. So, they found that kulelat, mababa ang score ng mga Pilipino sa mga PISA, CPLM, TIMSS. And dahil naman ang ginamit na assessment ay English. They say na, kasi ang mga nag-test grade 5, tapos na yung MLE, so dapat i-test sila sa English. That's the reasoning. Pero nakakatawa, okay, there was this meeting by UNICEF and CIMEO. They found that from the CPLM test, children who spoke the language of assessment at home scored better. And they found that sa Filipinas, only 6% of the total test takers spoke English. So tayo 6%, while majority in other countries, 85%, spoke the language of assessment. That's why they scored much better. Kaya itong UNICEF and CIMEO is changing. 2024, they started administering CPLM in Filipino, at a small population, and hopefully they will expand it. Ito rin, DepEd reported that the ELNA, the Early Language Literacy and Numeracy Assessment that was administered to grade 3 pupils, showed that learners tested in their home language consistently outperformed those assessed in a language different from their L1. Kasi nga yung ELNA was administered in 19 languages, and not all test takers spoke those 19 languages. And they found that yung kung L1 nila yung isa sa mga 19 languages, they scored better. So, lumabas na yung batas when these findings were introduced. Okay, so in conclusion, we found that the introduction of MTB-MLE provided an opportunity to address the impoverished view of literacy and local languages. So, ordinary teachers began to study their own language. they created language or literacy materials. Ano? It also unsettled the unquestioned dominance of English in school. The mother tongue big books provided prompts for a critical view of the social world, including the environment. So through the big books, they think about ano nangyayari sa aming mga rivers, sa mga ano yung nangyayaring bullying ganyan, ano? And then it also provided an opportunity to recognize yung L1, the home language of the children and their funds of knowledge. Okay? And so yun, let me end with what Brother Armin Luistro said when he went around observing MLE schools sa mga probinsya. Sabi niya, at first I thought MTB MLE was just language, but when I visited schools, I realized that it was about young people speaking from the heart. It's about teachers trying to contextualize their lesson. And more importantly, it's about a nation in search of its own identity. Okay? So, Namwao, this kan kana ay Diyos ti Agina, that's Ilocano, and maraming salamat. Thank you. Okay, so let me end here.
Okay, maraming salamat po, Church Ed. Ah, sa pagkakataong ito, siguro ay dadako po tayo sa open forum or question and answer po. Meron po ba tayong mga tanong kay Teacher Ched? May mga nais po ba tayong linawin?
Chat group, sir. Chat page. Sir Ryan.
I have a question for Mom Ched. Do you think that the current organization of DepEd promotes localized autonomy that would allow for support of mother tongue education? And are there enough resources now to move in that direction?
Mm-hmm. Well, in terms of reading materials, DepEd has its own portal, repository, the LRMDS. And if you open it, and there are other repositories like the Bloom, there are actually thousands. There are more materials produced in smaller languages. So, they're available. And then in terms of implementation, it really depends on the agency of the teacher or the principal. Because there are places that have a strong, they value the language so much. For example, in the Bilaan, Sarangani, some places in Ilocos. So it really, we really need to advocate and teach, the value of using these languages. So it depends on the local advocates. Okay. But in terms of policy, we have the Local Governance Act 9155, where the division, the principal, they have the autonomy to introduce programs that are responsive to their own needs. Okay, so we have such policy. So it depends on the school head, if they're willing to take the risks, because some of them are retiring and they do not want to do something innovative. But there are some who are really very innovative, very courageous, like the ones that I met in Benguet. So yun, that's my answer. I don't know if did I answer. So policy, yes, we have policy that supports autonomy. Materials, we have produced so many materials the past 15 years. We have reading primer, and many languages. Okay, and so we have materials. Training is what is lacking. We had mass training when MLE was introduced in 2011, 12, 13. But we do not have a consistent, program for teachers training. So it depends on the initiative of local leaders.
I have one other, I don't want to monopolize, but I have one other question. And I know Mom Wayne will get mad at me if I talk too much.
No, you're the one that gets mad at me if I talk.
But the question I have is there seems to be some confusion now about how to use mother tongue in education, and also I think the idea of the Matatag curriculum is to promote critical thinking, and I'm not sure if people realize that use of mother tongue actually is the most effective way to promote critical thinking.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, sometimes they think that if you use English, you're helping them to look intelligent. Because English is, just speak English and you look smart. So you speak the mother tongue, you look backward. So there's a need for reorientation. That's why I keep on saying to my friends that everything should change. We cannot expect the school to change society if there's so much valorization. If there's for English, language ideology, then we cannot expect the schools to be the sole driver for social change. There should be change in media. So that's why I'm glad that there are some Filipino pop singers that are using the like alamat, they are using the local languages. They are promoting it in among the but alamat is just one group. It should be promoted in media, even in churches. Like in churches, they use the English Bible. When we have enough Bibles in our local languages. But at least in Benguet, some churches are using the Ilocano and Kankanai, but in Catholic churches they have to ask permission from the bishop. So it's very hierarchical. So churches, media, and maybe businesses should use the local language so that. And language experts like Dr. Ryan, they should attempt to or keep on what you call that, intellectualizing the language, because the number one opposition comes from those who complain that why are you imposing all sorts of ancient words, in talking about math or science. So there's no consensus on using the right or the Filipino term for certain colors, shapes. So there should be effort from the language group to somehow maybe standardize so that things will be easier for children. So everything should change. All sectors should participate in social change and not expect just step ed to do the
Sa,
to be
sa
the
tingin ko
drivers
po,
of reform.
sa tingin ko po, Ma'am Ched, pwede po yung hybrid. Lalo na po pag technical like math.
Oo.
So,
Oo.
ang pinag-usapan po namin, yung mga bata po kasi sa bahay, pag nagbilang, hindi naman po
Oo.
yung local language. Talagang pag nagbilang po yung English numbers.
Pwede namang local, pero pagdating sa 11, 12, nagtatagalog na or English, higher numbers. Or kahit sa colors, di ba? Yellow,
Oo.
green.
Pero
So,
sabi po kasi nung teachers, kung tatagalugin nila yung pagturo ng math, yun pong mga test, English lang po yun.
tama.
So,
Dapat
paano yung shifting nung sa bata?
Oo. Nakalagay naman sa batas, dapat L1 ang test. Kaya nga mali yung ginagawa nila, no? Extra work. And remember na kahit naman yung English, di ba, they use Latin, they have French term. Hindi naman ano, no,
Hindi
yung
puro
yung
hybrid.
oo, ano. Gano'n naman ang language, di ka pwede maging purist. Kasi may mga purists and they're the ones who are, undermining the policy kasi they keep on imposing their pure, wala namang pure. So L1, so when you say L1, home language, ano yung everyday language ng bata? And if you want to, teach the pure language for the local writers, ituro mo yan pag malaki na sila, maybe high school, But
Mm.
little children, they are still learning how to read. So do not
Mm.
give them the burden of, purifying the language.
Yeah.
So yun, dapat kaya nga L1. Kaya some people are moving away from mother tongue kasi mother tongue there's the implication of heritage. So L1. So ano yung ginagamit na L1 ng bata, no? Para mas everyday language.
So siguro po sa conversations, isama po yung mga ganong vocabulary, definition, kasi nakakalito nga, bakit mother tongue? Tsaka po yung Pilipino naman, 'di ba? Yung Pilipino, ma'am, meron yung sinaunang Pilipino ang pinapabasa nila sa mga textbook. So yung mga bata kahit na nagtatagalog po sa bahay, hirap pa rin magbasa sa Pilipino. They're
Kaya,
not familiar with the very formal
yeah,
version.
masyadong, oo nga, isa yan sa mga most hated, ano. Meron kong study yung estudyante ko kasi tutor. No, they interviewed yung mga tutors and they found that, Filipino is the most hated subject. Kasi naman, yung mga Filipino language people, tinuturo nila yung ano ba yung rin and din, the small bit. So dapat, gawin nilang masaya, no? Mas meaning-based. Okay? So they should not be too consumed with, yung mga ganon-ganon, ano.
Dapat tanong natin si Sir Ryan. Anong comment mo dun, sir? Napaka-formal na na
Yes po,
Pilipino.
magandang umaga po. Actually, yun nga po lang kung pino po natin. Pag sinasabing Filipino, hindi siya sabi lagi ang mga teachers ang connotation actually katatapos namin nagpa-training for ng mga teachers teaching Filipino na hindi major ng Filipino and they are saying na ay mahirap kasi ang Filipino kasi ganito yung mga mahirap ang Filipino kasi yung mga salita hindi maintindihan. And ang pananaw ko dito, hindi isa sa kakanyahan ng wikang Pilipino ay ang pagiging bukas nito sa makabago, yung pagbabago niya. Kung ano nga dapat ang ginagamit na Filipino, tama si Teacher Ched, no? Hindi dapat natin ginagamit yung mga salita na kumbaga sinasabi natin mga patay na salita na sa Tagalog, no? Pagkos ang dapat natin ginagamit ay ano ba yung ginagamit na salita o na termino sa kasalukuyan para sa gayon no, kung ano yung ginagamit na wika ng bata, yun yung nababasa niya at naiintindihan niya. Hindi dapat tayo gumamit ng mga malalalim na mga salita na hindi naman na gamitin sa kasalukuyang panahon na nagiging dahilan para hindi maunawaan ng mga bata. So sana kung anong wikang nananaig sa kasalukuyan na ginagamit ng komunidad, yun yung wika na dapat nating ipabasa at salita na dapat nakikita at ginagamit ng mga mag-aaral para hindi magiging mahirap para sa kanila ang wikang Filipino.
O hindi mahirap para magbasa, sir,
opo, kasi yun nga, kasi pag ang familiar sila sa mga salitang ginagamit, mas madali nilang unawain yung kanilang binabasa.
I agree with that, Sir Ryan. Good morning po sa lahat. Yeah. I was trying to help one of our struggling readers using customized literacy po. And I agree with Sir Ryan that kailangan gamitin yung mga lengguwahe na naayon sa lengguwahe ng bata na expose siya. Halimbawa, ang struggling reader na tinuturuan ko ay hindi pa masyadong nakakasalita nakakabasa ng phrases or sentences, much more sa paragraph. So, ang ginagawa ko po ay nagsimula ako sa mga familiar siyang mga salita like paborito. No, sinabi ko sa kanya, ano ang paborito mong prutas? Ano ang paborito mong kaining pagkain? Ano ang paborito mong gulay? So in that way, kayang-kaya niya yung sagutin ako. Ganyan. So gumawa ako ng isang gawain activity sa kanya. Fill in the blanks. No? Fill in the blanks ako. Tapos nilagay ko doon. Dahil siya ay struggling nga po, hindi pa masyadong nakakabasa. So sinabi ko sa kanya, yung aking fill in the blanks na mga phrases or a short paragraph, I should say, Sabi ko sa kanya, ako ay C, tapos underline. Underline, so siya magsusulat ng kanyang pangalan. Ang paborito kong gulay ay siya ang magsusulat nun. Paborito ko ito dahil ito ay masustansya. So hindi pa niya alam yung spelling ng masustansya, medyo mahaba yon. Ganyan. Ito ay kulay pula, kunyari, tapos fill in the blanks yon. So I was really happy na yung batang ito was able to fill the words in the blanks kasi yun yung familiar sa kanya. And also the spelling, like kunyari, ang paborito niyang prutas ay mansanas at ito ay kulay pula, kaya niyang isulat yung salitang pula. Kasi pula, di ba? And then this girl was really surprised. Sabi niya gano'n, kaya niyang i-spell yung salitang pula, malaking mansanas, something like that. So I agree with that, Sir Ryan. So I hope na ganon, no, maging tayo, contextualize tayo kung ano yung lengguwahe ng bata na mas madali siyang makarelate, ay yun dapat yung mga materials na dapat nating gawin para sa kanila. Salamat po.
Meron na po bang movement na wag na tayong magturo, wag na nating gamitin ang English as medium of instruction? Meron na po bang ganun?
Ngayon po, wala po.
I mean, meron nakalagay naman sa Constitution that if the Congress decides to change the official language, maybe Chinese. Ngayon. Pero ayun kasi meron namang kasi meron ding mga move yung Philippine English kasi merong world Englishes, ano?
Yeah.
So there are moves to own, kaya tuloy, imbis ano ba yung paano sila mag-pronounce yung mga Amerikano, ano ba ibig sabihin ng ganito? So parang now you're thinking we have our own variant, we have our own Philippine English, yung mga taga-Lasal Linguistic Society of the Philippines are promoting Philippine English, So siguro yung ang kailangan talaga is yung principle na pagtuturo ng English na hindi mo iisipin na ay kalimutan ko na kasi like diba maraming parents they speak to each other sa Bisaya or local language pero pagdating sa anak nila English speaking, So parang they are prohibiting their children to watch Filipino films. So ang laki talaga yung effect ng magulang. Even my students, they just learn the value of L1 mother tongue. Pagdating sa college na, because these kids they come from private school, lumaki sila na English lang. So parang we have to work to let them see, yung parang kailangan ng reorientation, conscientization. Para ma-realize nila na
malakihan yan. Malakihan yan, Ma'am Che.
So kahit sa mga teachers.
Oo. Sir Ryan, meron pong mga tanong sa chat.
Okay po, sige po.
Binabato ko sa'yo kasi ikaw po yung facilitator.
Sige po.
Gusto mabasahin yung hindi pa
Ayan ma'am, sige po. Ito po, good day po from Ma'am Monica Gutierrez. Good day po, yun po ang struggle namin sa aming mga learners na English po ang unang tinuturo sa bata. As a result, hirap po na po sila napabasahin at turuan sa pagbasa ng Pilipino. So, how about the response of the parents po? Sabi ni Ma'am Mari, please, pwede pong sumagot? Sa question ni Ma'am Mari, please. Kasi po, actually ang dissertation is language din, pakamutan pangisalba, so ng wikang Bulinaw sa bayan ng Anda, Pangasinan. So it is say pakamut is a Bulinaw for paglalaho and then pangisalba, pagliligtas. Ang paglalaho at pagliligtas ng wikang Bulinaw sa bayan ng Anda, Pangasinan. So yung response ng parents, tinanong ko sila regarding sa language use sa tahanan. So kasi ang tanong ko about Bulinaw language is mas gusto nilang wika na matutuhan ng kanilang anak. So sa bahay mismo, ano ang gusto nilang wika ng kanilang anak sa loob ng tahanan. So lumalabas sa mga key informant na kasangkot sa pag-aaral ko, mas gusto nila yung Tagalog or Filipino rather than yung kanilang unang wika. Mas gusto nila at mas gusto nila ang Ingles. Bakit? No, kasi ngayon dun yung sinasabi ni Teacher Chad kanina na itong mga magulang natin ngayon, parang ang tingin ng komunidad mismo is may hierarkiya ang wika na kung saan wala naman. Na mas mataas ang pagtingin sa wikang Filipino at lalo tigit mas mataas kapag wikang Ingles. Sapagkat sa tingin nila, ito mismo yung makasasalba sa kanilang kalagayan sa buhay. Ito yung wikang makapag-aangat sa tingin nila, ito yung wikang makapag-aangat sa kanila ng estado ng pamumuhay. Kapag ang bata marunong Filipino, mas marunong makakonect at makaugnay, makahanap ng trabaho sa kabuuan, at lalo na kapag Ingles kasi 'di ba international ang datingan, which is international language naman talaga English, no? So ganun ang kanilang pagtanaw. So kung dahil dito, no, mas pabor ang mga magulang na gamitin o matuto ang anak nila mismo ng English kaysa sa ng unang wika nila. So ayun po. Teacher Chen.
Sorry. Kasi we have to realize na itong mga magulang, produkto sila ng bilingual education. I mean, the English-Filipino only lang program. Doon sila pinanganak, lumaki, So hopefully, when MLE was introduced, we will have new set of Filipinos, na may iba pananaw, So yun ang sad, Pero kung nakita nila, like in my study, since ginagamit na yung Kankanaey sa school, parang natutuwa rin sila, and the lola, dahil yung lola magaling sa Kankanaey, ayun sila yung laging kinoconsult, sa mga assignment. So parang yan nag-i-interact, yung attitude ng lipunan is also affected kung ano yung policy practices. Noon, since English and Filipino only were the, these two languages were the main languages used in school. Kaya they had to train their children to succeed in school. Pero kung nakikita nila na may mother tongue na, so they will maybe use the mother tongue or the L1, hindi lang English and Filipino. So ganun talaga. So hopefully kahit na may batas na ng RA 12027, since there's the Constitution still allows it allows the L1, gamitin natin yung space na yun to popularize it and baguhin. Kaya kunyari, natutuwa ako sa mga bata like in Ilocos, there is this kid who is creating movies in Ilocano,
Oh, wow.
Nakakatuwa siya. He's from PUP. Basta siya, movie maker siya, So, yun, yung iba gumagawa ng mga kanta. So, yun, mga bata ang, I think, kung kaming mga boomer or Gen X. So yun, it needs advocacy. Kahit tayo mismo, like ako, very, akala ko dahil nag-aral ako sa UP, critical thinker ako. But when mother tongue was introduced to me in the 2008, bakit? Di ba dapat English? O, di ba? So, kasi Ilocano ako, hindi mo ako strongly proponent ng Tagalog, Kaya ako dapat English. But when I read the studies, I listened to, presentation. Oo nga, So parang it was, yung parang yun ang naging part ng aking tinatawag na habitus, unquestioned assumption that only Filipino and English are the languages to be used. But when I was exposed to, other ideas, then, oo nga pala, ganyan. So, yan.
Ma'am Ched, parang sinabi mo po kanina, paano ba natin isulong itong MLE at saka po L1, yung paggamit ng mga pangunahing wika sa mga lugar nila? Meron pong, sa palagay ko po, isang magandang strategy para pong yung magkaroon ng national organization representing different yung mga gumagamit po ng iba-ibang L1. Halimbawa po, Sir Ryan, taga Pangasinan ka po ba? Kaya po Ilocano.
Yes po.
Ayun, yung mga ganun po kasi yun po yung committed na panatilihin yung kanilang mga L1. So, siguro meron po tayong kasama ngayon na nagtatrabaho po sila sa mga IP communities. So, I'm calling on the attention of Sir Jordan po sa Romblon, ang dami pong IP doon. Si Ma'am Chen, may mga IP po sa Albay. May IP communities po silang pinagtatrabahuhan doon. Wala dito po yung contact namin sa Tanay, may IP rin po. 'Di ba po ang daming nakakalat. Pero maganda pong gawing halimbawa yung ginawa niyo sa Benguet na build literacy, build language skills muna po, 'di ba? Thinking and language skills, at yun na po yung gagamitin nila sa pag-aaral na magbasa. And then si Sir
Mm.
Mitch was saying before, reading is a translingual skill. Kuhanin mo muna dapat yung basic skill of thinking and language. And then, yung skill po na yon, pag nabasa na po, pag nakakabasa na po sila sa kanilang L1, edi madali na rin pong tignan yung shift na, ito Tagalog naman ang babasahin ko. Tapos yung Tagalog, very phonetics naman yun, 'di ba, Sir Ryan? Ang dali lang, Filipino phonetics, so diretso lang. Yung English dapat yung huling matutunan kasi ang daming komplikadong language ang English. Daming rules
Mhm.
na iba.
Tama, no? Siguro kung mayaman lang ako. Gusto ko sana yung social enterprise na kasi nung nandun ako sa Benguet, gusto ng mga bata, gusto nilang iuwi yung mga big books, Kaya yung ibang bata kinokopya pa nila sa papel para basahin nila. No? Kahit yung mga
Oh,
parents. Teka kung mayroon lang akong, syempre we cannot expect a Darna or itong Hiyas to publish such yung books kasi nga small language lang naman sila, it will not make much money. So siguro the idea of community-based publishing,
yes.
where the community will publish. And then tinanong ko nga yung store doon pwede ba kayong magbenta, ganyan, And willing naman sila. So if we can create yung mga community-based publishing, as imagine the teachers wrote 300 stories. Okay.
Pero it's the teachers po that wrote it, hindi.
Yeah. Pero syempre part naman sila ng community. Hindi naman sila yung outside.
That is good. Ma'am, meron po kaming parang variation lang niyang program na yan, na ang pinapasulat yung mga bata mismo. So, pinapakwento, tapos pinapasulat yung kwento. Tapos maliliit lang na books para hindi po mahal i-publish, homemade. And then we say, isabit nyo yan, may lubid sa classroom. Isabit lahat ng ginawa ng, say, 30 bata. 30 na po yung pagpipilian basahin ng mga classmates. Pero ano lang po siya, yung homemade book. Ini-staple lang. Tapos white paper, tinupi sa gitna. Very, very easy to produce. And the kids can readily bring it home kasi marami naman po. Tsaka hindi mahal yung pagkopya. Yon. Tapos pwedeng mamili na lang eventually na gawing big book or ganon. Ganon lang po yung initial idea.
Maganda nga yan, Kasi kahit yung mga big books sa Benguet, ang nag-drawing nun, mga kids naman Maghanap sila ng mga kids na marunong mag-drawing, ganyan. So, it can be local publishing or local production of literacy materials. Kunyari yung mga ginawa ng mga bata na stories, i-convert siya into kasi ang sabi ko nga, bakit kayo nakagawa ng marami? Sabi nila, nagkaroon na kasi ng mga local photocopying machine, yung tawag doon yung print on demand technology. Unlike before na yung yung mga traditional way of printing na kailangan at least thousands before you can print a book, But now using the new digital printing technologies, 600 pesos meron ka ng big book, So hindi na siya, kung small book mas mura pa, So kung gano'n, ginawa ng isang teacher, bumili siya ng malaking printer para they can print the storybooks in their own school, So mga ganong initiative siguro would facilitate yung production ng materials kasi they have to read it at home yung they have to practice reading mga informal reading, hindi lang naman pwede shared reading lang. Ano?
And parents din po, sabi, ang comment po ng marami pong parents ay hindi literate. So, pwede pong masali sila sa literacy program. They can, learn to read. Gusto ko lang po sabihin, meron po nag-post dito sa chat group, Sir Ryan.
Yes, ma'am. Good morning. Ito yung last question, nasagot na kasi ni Teacher Ched yung sa about presentation practicing MPBMLE, ano? So now the question of Sir Jordan ay, parents and other proponent of foreign language think on a long-term effects of using local dialects as a medium of instruction of students towards future opportunities such as employment or higher education, sabi po ni Sir Jordan. Ayan, si Ma'am Monica, how much po kaya ang magagastos kapag bumili po ng printer for big books? Perhaps we could tap our stakeholders.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Maganda na. Maganda nga siguro na maganda yun na each school would have its own printer. Yeah. pero yung sabi kanina no na yeah, maganda yung sinabi kayo that we should also acknowledge the value of English. Pero dapat maging ano naman.
Ryan.
Hello Sir Ryan, ano ka pa rin?
Sorry po.
Narinig ka namin. Okay. So yan, I think magandang idea po yun na every school would have its own printer, large printer para sa mga big books. Yung iba pa nga, kasi parang ayaw nilang masira yung big book, tinitape nila, no? What they call that packing tape na transparent. Kaya yung isang principal, bumili siya ng printer, bumili rin siya ng laminator.
Laminator. Yeah.
Para yung mga storybook na ginagawa nila would be laminated, hindi madaling masira. So, yan yung mga diskarte ng mga school head, ano? So, if you think small, yung how to create a reading community, ganyan, a literate community, creating a literate community. So, yan, having its own storybook making, printing, ganyan, reproduction. And then, yung ginawa ng DepEd na every Friday, ano nga ba yun? Yung, tuloy pa ba yun, sir? Yung magbasa?
National Learning Camp?
Hindi yung Friday na drop everything and read, yung Dear. Pinasuspend na, okay. Yung dati kasi drop everything and read every Friday, So, maybe we need such, yung mga habitual, yung reading, hindi lang yung shared reading because a child will not develop love for reading kung minsan lang, Dapat, they can bring it home. Isa pa lang ginagawa sa ibang bansa, like Morocco, they would ask parents to download the story sa cellphone nila. So if there is a movement na, teaching parents, i-download nyo, ipabasa nyo sa tablet or kahit cellphone.
So hindi na printed.
Oo. Kasi nga, mahal din ang printing.
Mahal din ang printing.
Ito, maganda rin yung, kung cellphone, meron silang cellphone. So kung whatever they have, pwede rin naman nilang ikabit sa TV nila. So
OMC.
Sila
yung pong offline mobile thing. No, Ma'am Gretch.
Ayan, Catch Up Friday pala. Yeah. So anything, ikabit sa cellphone, sa mobile phone, sa tablet, sa kanilang mga TV, maybe may USB, ganyan. And then turuan yung parents or the children. Kaysa naman maghintay tayo na
Ma'am Ched, meron ka po bang tawag dyan, estimate kung gaano kalawak na po ito sa Pilipinas, yung mga communities? Ayan po yung tanong ni Dr. Mays. Gaano kalawak na po yung gumagamit ng ganito? Recent policy shift? Ayan, gumagalaw yung chat, hindi ko mabasa yung sulat ni Dr.
Wala po kung alam kung gaano karami. Pero dito sa study ng PIDS, sabi nila 45% ang nagpo-produce ng storybook or big book. So maybe in those 45%, sa aking yung iba naman, kunyari, they use Bisaya, marami nang na-produce sa Bisaya. So they do not produce new materials anymore. Ginagamit na nila yung mga existing ganyan. So iba-iba. For smaller languages, they are, they make time producing stories. But for the more dominant ones, they are initiating activities para basahin, ituro yung mga existing materials. And then the Bloom Library, pwede siyang i-upload doon, and then pwede siyang isulat in any language. And then i-download mo siya as a book. So stories from Africa, places in Asia. So yan, sharing yan, parang portal for big book making. Maganda siya. So yun nga,
Hindi po
kailangan lang
ba
po may magsulong.
hindi po ba pwedeng yung mga taga Pangasinan isi-share yung mga stories nila sa mga taga Romblon? Hindi ba pwedeng ganon?
Oo, magandang gawin yung project. I mean, nangyayari naman informally. Kasi may mga portals, Let's Read Asia, Bloom, mga ganyan, at LRMDS. So may mga portal, pero yung program na, kunyari, ngayon, pag-alalan naman natin ang stories from Pangasinan.
Yeah.
Or next meeting, Hiligaynon naman. So yung Catch Up Friday or yung Drop Everything and Read, tignan naman natin yung kwento galing sa, kunyari, Tausug naman, galing kasi ako sa, Mindanao, sa Bar. Yun, Tausug, very rich din pala sila sa mga ganyan,
Oh,
So may
wow.
kung may mga program, kasi hindi, akala ng iba basta may library ka enough na, So kailangan ay may programa, So yun.
So, Sir Mitch, it's already time. 8:30.
Yeah. Does anybody else have any other final comments? But I think it's very exciting and important to reignite the use of mother tongue in education, because the academics really does support the fact that children will learn better that way. I saw a comment about parents being worried about students' future opportunities, in employment or higher education. But if they develop critical thinking skills at an early age, I think the studies show there's much more likelihood of success in academics later in life also. So
Ako excited, idagdag ko lang yung isang nakita ko na parang direction, Ma'am Ched, para pong intentional, ipunin po natin tong ito po sa PRB, ilan na po yan, gumagalaw po sila sa mga IP communities, kung saan ang layunin din talaga ay talaga pong i-preserve yung mga languages, dialects na to, at saka gamitin talaga siya sa buhay ng mga tao sa lugar. So kung maipon po natin yan, magkakaroon po tayo ng critical mass na, using L1 in promoting literacy or teaching children to read is a much more effective strategy. Tapos magsishift na lang, hindi naman Sir Jordan, hindi naman po yun na yung kanilang medium of instruction hanggang high school. Kasi kahit po yung mga Chinese, nakafocus sila sa say Mandarin hanggang high school, and then mag-aaral sila ng foreign language. Foreign language na po siya. Parang dito sa mga school dito sa US, mamimili yung mga bata ng aaralin na foreign language. So pipiliin nila French o Spanish. So sana ganun din yung setup natin na ang medium of instruction, yung mga L1 sa communities. Tama po ba ako na only 7 to 9 major languages in the Philippines are being used by like 80% of the population? Kasi tinignan po nila yung marami nga, over 100. Kaya sabihin nila, hindi natin pwedeng i-translate yung PISA sa Tagalog kasi 30% lang na mga Pilipino ang may mother tongue na Tagalog. Tapos, pero po, 25% Hiligaynon, Ilonggo, yung ganon, bali po 80% na mga Pilipino, 7 to 8 major languages lang po yung prominent po siya. And I don't mean to say na hayaan nang mamatay yung ibang languages, but in terms of like assessment like this, we are not assessing the students' proficiency in English. We are assessing their thinking skills. So, dapat po ay pinapag-isip po natin sila sa kanilang L1. So, including po yun sa understanding academic subjects like science and math, and then itest sila sa L1, hindi sa English. Iba po yun. Kaya po hindi po tayo makakapasa sa PISA at all.
Oh, Weng, Mom Jordan has raised her hand. Yes, Mom Jordan.
Sir Jordan.
Oh, Sir Jordan.
Yes, good morning, everyone. Actually, ma'am, I would like to share this our struggle with the implementation of the mother tongue, especially to the IP community, and even in the wider perspective of implementing the MTV-MLE. Because our problem is not the implementation, because the learners accept it, the parents accept it, but our struggle is on our colleagues, on our colleagues that are specifically subject in math, science, English. So those are the people that are very ma'am sa implementation of
Resistant.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. So that is our struggle. We have a lot of initiatives in the field. And that is one of our struggle, convincing our colleagues, because aside from that, also the assessment process. No? We taught our children on mother tongue, but the problem, the assessment, ang basis of assessment is Tagalog and English. So may meron tayong tinatawag na misalignment of the teaching and also sa assessment po ng mga bata. Yun po.
Yung goal kasi makapasa sa PISA. Tumaas ang score sa PISA. So dapat ang goal, linangin muna yung thinking skills ng mga bata. And then, sabihin sa PISA, pwede ba i-translate nyo yung PISA sa Hiligaynon, sa Ilonggo, sa Bicolano, but hindi pwedeng ganon. Sa China, ganon eh. They translate it into many other different languages in China. O, the number 1 po sila sa PISA. Anyway, just some last few minutes thoughts po, Ma'am Ched. Usap po tayo, tignan po natin kung paano tayo magsanib puwersa sa pagdokumento ng mga ginagawang ito para po sa collaborate po natin, mas marami po tayong mapakitang evidence na this is working. The children are becoming literate. They can read. They can comprehend. And then, shift na lang sa English, Sir Jordan. Mas madali yon, learning a foreign language first, and then reading in that language.
Yeah, kasi we are promoting multilingualism and multiliteracy, Hindi naman to mother tongue education lang. We want, this is a multilingual country. So we want them to, kunyari Tagalog speaking, matuto naman sila ng language ng mga lola nila, another language, hindi yung mag-aaral lang ng Tagalog yung mga Bisaya. So I think we should develop multilingualism.
Yeah.
Ganyan, And then, yung buti naman yung PISA, at least yung CPLM, we are including Filipino.
Mute po.
Okay. Sige. I think, ayan na, okay na. Salamat po sa mga expression
Salamat.
of support.
Thank you very
Thank you for the
much, Ma'am Ched.
sharing. Thank you very much.
Can we, everybody turn on their camera and we'll have one picture?
Oh, yes. Very productive. Thank you so much, Ma'am Ched. Let's
That was-
continue to talk po.
It was a very interesting presentation. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you also.
Yes po, Ma'am Ched. Okay. Who's taking the picture?
I can do it, Wang. Or do you
Can you
want to
see
do it?
everybody? Kasi mine is only half.
Okay. I think there's a few more that have to turn on their cameras.
There are 17 people. I
Yeah.
can only see 9.
Ayan.
Sir Philip,
Ma'am
Ma'am
Marian.
Marian, Ma'am Dadet. Oy, Ma'am Dadet, nakahabol ka. Sir Ryan, thank you so much. Napasabak ka, no? Sabi ko nga sa iyo, I'm so happy na meron kaming nakitang expert po sa Pilipino. Diba?
Sige.
Okay. Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank
po.
you. Thank you.
Thank
Good
you.
luck.
Thank you po.
Thank
you,
you
everyone.
again
Thank you,
po,
Ma'am Ched.
Ma'am
Thank
Ched.
you po. Thank
Thank
you.
We'll keep in touch po.
Sige.
Salamat
Thank you.
po. Kita tayo bukas,
Salamat.
mga MTV Batch 2025. Tayo po ay orientation bukas, ay Sunday evening.
Good evening.
Yeah. Bye, Sir Mitch.
Bye-bye.
Off ka na. Okay, bye everyone.